and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today we're going to be doing a get ready with me using a few new things or recent items, but the focus is going to be first impressions on the Bobbi Brown Luxe Precious Metals eyeshadow palettes. Now, I don't typically like to do first impressions of eyeshadow palettes. I like to test them for several days. I have used this formula in the past. I have this formula. I really like this formula. So this is really more of a shade thing. I have a ton of eyeshadows they all came on the same day. So I've got the new Byredo Metal and Boots palette that's coming up. I've got the two new quads from SUQQU's pre-holiday collection. So let me know what you guys would like in order. And also please let me know if you would like another more dedicated review specifically to this palette. So first we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna show you this look. Let's get ready with me and you can see the products that I used on my face today. I've got some new items, including these Luxe Precious Metal eyeshadows. Then we're gonna come back and go over some swatches and talk about the formula and things like that. So see you in a minute. All right, so I actually put a little bit of the Rodial Peach Lowlighter on, but we're gonna add a little bit more later. Let's do our base first. So I'm using a sample of the new Chanel's Sublimage Perfector. Look at this. It's like one of those like radiance serums, but this is an all-in-one primer, moisturizer, and like radiance booster. And it's in the Chanel Sublimage line, which, you know, has the vanilla planiflora extract in it, which is, you know, Chanel's one of those companies that actually does it like by hand, which is one of the things that brings up the cost on that. And I have more information about that in my Sublimage foundation video, but it's, you know, it's a high quality way to get that product, which is supposed to be very beneficial to the skin. So this product is supposed to, you know, have like some skincare benefits and everything as well. So this is what it looks like on the skin. It feels nice. It feels like a lightweight moisturizer, and you can see it gives a little bit of a glow, but it's not like sparkly or pearly or anything like that. All right, then I'm going to take the Peach Lowlighter, just put a little bit of this on, and I have the Sonia G mini base brush here. Look at that. So just a little bit of a subtle reflect radiance here. And for foundation, we're going to go with the Sisley Latent Foundation from Sisley. And I have shade 0R Vanilla. And we're going to put this one on. I'm going to use the Chanel Sublimage brush, actually. I really like this foundation brush. I wish they would make this... I wish they would sell the pieces separately, because again, if you buy the Chanel Sublimage foundation, you get this brush as part of the package. But you know, if you're buying a second foundation, you don't really need the brush again. And honestly, I think it's a nice brush. So I'd rather have it sold separately so that you could pick it up whether you're interested in the foundation or not. So what I like about it is, well, it is synthetic, but I really like the angling and the density of this. It's a pretty dense brush, very soft on the skin, and the actual angling of this works well. Like you can get underneath the eyes and you can get in all the different spaces, and I just think it does a great job on the skin. Then I'm going to do a light dusting of the Rodial glass powder on my skin, and I'm just using the Rephr 25 brush. This was I think this was holiday last year. I just love the finish that you get from this powder, and you don't need a lot. And then we're going to open up the SUQQU Cheek Palette in 103. This is from the pre-holiday collection. And I have 101 and 102. I almost didn't get this one because I think it looks pretty similar, kind of like a mashup of the other two, but figure let's go ahead and test it out. So I'm going to be testing this for a few days before I get the video up on the SUQQU pre-holiday collection. So I wanted to, you know, start working on this today. So let's start off with this brown shade and kind of put it towards the back, see if it works kind of as a bronzer. So I'm taking the Chikuhodo F04 brush into that. This is one of my favorite bronzer brushes, and let's just put this back here. just have a tiny bit of product on because I really wanted to make sure it's not too dark on me. Yeah, you know, it's actually pretty good. So that's just a really, really light touch of it. And then I'm going to use a different brush for blush. I think let's go into this pink one. I'm going to take the GRWM KZ4, and this shade here is kind of like a mauvey rose kind of shade. And we're just going to put this on lightly. Again, I'm just using a tiny bit of product. Now with the 101 and the 102 palettes, like one of them goes on, I can't remember which, I have to double check. One of them goes on more strongly than the other. And so I wasn't sure how this one would go on. We'll talk more about those comparisons though in the video on that. So you can see, you know, again, I'm dipping in lightly like this, right? And then I dab it a couple times on my cloth, on my lap to get off any excess. So I'm really not using much product at all. So I think these are fairly pigmented then. I mean, I get that much color with barely anything on there. I'm gonna take the KZ5 into this more peachy highlight shade. And let's see how this one goes. Just tapping off a little excess. That gives a nice sheen. There's a little bit, it looks like there's a touch of gold in there. So that looks nice. All right, but what I really wanted to play with right now is the Bobbi Brown Luxe Precious Metals palette. So I picked this one up, very, very curious. I like the Luxe formula. I've been trying a few things from Bobbi Brown recently, and for the most part, things are nice, but they haven't like really wowed me. But when I tried the Luxe formula last year, it really wowed me. So I wanted to try these out. So let's go ahead and get started. I think, you know, I'm going to start with this shade and kind of put just a touch of it in the crease. So I'm using the Sonia G Crease Pro. And let's see how this goes on. All right, so I'm going to have to take the sticker off this mirror. I'm like trying to look at it, but it's, oh gosh, you know, sometimes these little like tear things, like you really have to like scrape at them. It's like scraping my nail polish off. By the way, this is ILNP. It's from their new Halloween collection. This is the Trick or Treat shade. You know, I really can't get this sticker off the mirror. I'm gonna have to get something to scrape it. It's just not coming. But let's go ahead and move on to some more shadows. All right, so let's go into this pinky shade. This is like the third shade here. And let's go ahead and put this on. I don't have primer or anything on. Wow, this is pretty. Let me try and get this sticker off for real. All right, I got it. So it was just that the little like pull tag was stuck. So I just used this little like depotting tool to lift it up, and then it pulled off with no problem. So, I mean, this pink shade, look at that. And then let me show you the difference with the fingers here. Put this on this eye. Not a huge difference with the fingers with that shade. Let's go on. I want to try this one here. It kind of looks like more of like a warm silver, like almost like a taupey shade. We're going to do this on the outer half here. Oh, I love that. That's a really pretty shade. We're going to use fingers on this side. Yeah, I like this color. Just blending that a little bit. And then I want to go into the brighter silver here for the middle. Well, you know what? We should use something different. I always go with those shades. Let's go into this shade, no, the yellow, because I'm curious how this yellow is going to look on me. That was kind of the one shade I was kind of like, I probably won't use that. But just stick that right there in the middle. Because it's like, it's yellow with like, kind of has, like, it doesn't look green, but it's like there's a touch of like green in it. So, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. I'm just going to smear these edges. Now I'm going to take the Soft Definer from Sonia G. We're going to go into the silver shade in the inner corner. And I'm just going to put this right here. Ooh, that's blingy. I don't know. I kind of really like this. And let's go ahead and just put the rest of the shades down on the bottom. So let's see here. We didn't use this one yet. So let's go into this gold. This is the last shade in the top row. So I'm going to put this on the outer portion. I just kind of want to see what these colors look like. And then we'll go into this pink in the middle here. That's a pretty pink. I thought it might be like one of those ones that makes you kind of look a little like red-eyed, but it doesn't. Now I'm going to go into this like more orangey shade. It's, I guess, more of like a, I don't know, like to me, I kind of think of like a rusty pumpkin. All right, so that's technically all of the shades. Not that you can really see necessarily all of them distinctly here, but I wanted to see how these go on, and I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm kind of liking that look. So I'm just going to take the Crease Pro again and just kind of I'm not going directly into the crease because I don't want to touch anything on the lid by mistake. I'm going to go into this like yellowy shade a little bit, just a touch of this and a touch of this silver here. And we're going to put this right under the brow very, very softly. There's my precious metals look. So for eyeliner, keeping with more of this metallic look, we're going to go in with the Chanel or Antique. This is number 48. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this right along the lash line. And I need just a little bit more emphasis, so I'm also going to go in with Grey Graphite, and I'm going to keep this right in the lashes, just to kind of bring out the lash line a little bit more, but I'm trying to go, you know, right up against it, so the gold's kind of more above it. All right, so let's curl the lashes and add some mascara. And for mascara, I'm going to go in with the Rodial mascara. This is the XXL. And for brows, I'm taking the Jones Road Brow Pencil in Ash. All right, and I think instead of a lipstick, I want to use something a little bit more glossy. So I'm going to take the Tom Ford lip gloss in Sunrise Pink. And this one doesn't have shimmer. Let's see how this looks. So this is Sunrise Pink. All right, so I hope that was helpful so you could see how they perform. I really love the Bobbi Brown Luxe eyeshadow formula. So as I mentioned, you know, I've been trying some Bobbi Brown things recently because the first thing I had tried in many years was the Luxe Holiday Eyeshadow Quad last year. I tried the bronze one and I loved the formula. I loved that particular quad, still love it. So I wanted to try this one, but I've been trying a few of their other products and, you know, they're nice, but I haven't found anything like, wow, this is fantastic. Although I do like their crushed oil lip glosses. But this palette, I had to pick it up. So I think the packaging is gorgeous. I really like this packaging. These are each 1.3 grams and we have 8 shades and they're all new. So we have Top of the Rock, Glistening City, Gilded Pink, Skyline Shimmer, Rose Garnet, Gunmetal, Downtown Heat, and Antique Bronze. Now I do think these are all kind of like pastel type. You know, it really is more like a crushed rock or, you know, a crushed crystal in these shades. So, you know, I think it's really pretty. By the way, these are made in Italy and I picked this up from the Bobbi Brown website. So inside we have a full-size mirror and let's take a look at these shades. So this top row here, let me just have the names open. I mean, look how pretty those are. So this is Top of the Rock, Glistening City, Gilded Pink, and Skyline Shimmer. I mean, they're just stunning. One of the things that really called to me with this palette, because, you know, if you look at these shades, they're like, oh, pastels. I don't really, you know, wear looks just with pastels that much, but I think this palette is going to be great as an addendum to things as well. So I'm really looking forward to trying this with other things as well. So this one here is Rose Garnet. Then we have Gunmetal, Downtown Heat, and Antique Bronze. These are stunning. So if we take a look at these, Top of the Rock, it's really more of a brighter, like, it's like a bright white with a touch of pewter silver in it. So it's not really a true silver. It's not really white, but it's kind of like white mixed with pewter because you can see there's a little depth to that color. All of these go on smoothly and they all, I mean, look at them. They all have a ton of shimmer. Now, Glistening City is really more of a really light, pale, bright gold, but there's like, in some lighting, you see like a touch of lime green in it, just like a touch. You don't actually really, like it never looks green, but it has like that brightness of a spring green a little bit in it, just like a hint of it. And then we have Gilded Pink. And this is a really pretty soft pink. You know, pinks have been such a huge color in the color stories recently. And I think this one's a really nice one because it's not too red. You know, I think it's going to work well for a lot of people. And having it in this mixture, I think helps as well. And then we have Skyline Shimmer. And Skyline Shimmer, this one is a little bit more of a... It actually looks a little bit more like a soft bronzy shade. When you look at it in the pan, look at that difference. You know, it looks a little bit lighter in the pan, I think. So in the pan, it looks more like there's more champagne in there. And here it really just looks more like a softer bronzy shade. And then we have, this one is Rose Garnet. And you can see this is going to be like a warmer tone pink with a touch of red in it. And then this one is Gunmetal. It's gorgeous. It really is more like a pewter with a touch of brown in it. You don't really see the brown, but like when it moves, you can kind of get like a glimpse of like a brown reflect in there a little bit. Even though when you buff it out, you really don't see brown. It's just kind of like the way the light hits it sometimes. And then we have Downtown Heat, which is really more of it's really more pumpkin-y. So it's kind of like a mango crossed with pumpkin. So, I think that's a really pretty shade. And then we have Antique Bronze, which is definitely going to be a deeper, a little bit more coppery version here of the Skyline Shimmer. So this is a true bronze, and this one's definitely going to be softer. It's a little bit more golden as well. But this one has more like coppery tones in there. It actually, to me, it looks more like copper. And this one looks a little bit more, well, a copper, antique bronze, kind of similar. And this looks more like a fresher bronze, not an antique version, if that makes sense. So I think these are the shades, and this formula in general, I really love this formula. I think they're just, I mean, they perform so well. Now, I have to say that compared to the eyeshadow quad last year, let me pull that one out real quickly. So these are the Luxe Encore eyeshadow palette in bronze from last year's holiday. I think this year's packaging is prettier. You also have a little bit more wasted space here with these. I'm gonna swatch these here. The formula on these feels a little different, and partly I think that's mostly because of the metallic nature. These feel a little bit more putty-like than these. Those, I don't think I got enough product on there. Hold on. All right, let's just swatch these two again. So these are going to be a little bit more putty-like. They've got a beautiful shimmer, but they're not quite strongly metallic. And you can tell just looking at this formula, look at the way that, that this is definitely going to be more putty-like. So I have to say these feel more like a regular metallic shadow than some of the others, but they don't feel gritty at all. And they go on very smoothly. It's not a situation where you have some of those metallic particles, and if you don't spread it out smoothly, it looks like patchy. This really seems to be imbued throughout. And so, yeah, I like it. And I will definitely add an update in here as to how these perform. Typically, the Luxe shadows, I can wear them like for a 12, 14-hour day without any creasing or primer or anything. So I'm expecting these to live up to those same results, but I will definitely leave a note in here about that. So as for all the products I used today, the Chanel Sublimage Perfector, I'm really enjoying this. So I'm considering buying the full size of this. I really do like it. It gives a little bit of radiance, but not a ton. I think it's going to be something I'm going to like to use a lot during the winter. And as a primer, I think that it has been really nice. I can't say that it's really helped with longevity because the foundations I've been using, and with this particular temperature, I haven't had any issues with those foundations with or without a primer recently. But I do think that it, kind of like evens things out a little bit. I don't really notice any blurring with it, but I do notice like this look of my skin looking a little bit more hydrated. So I think it gives like just a really nice finish. The Sislea Le Teint foundation, this, I like the foundation. I don't know if it really is going to, like, I'll notice anything for anti-aging or anything like that with it. But I do think it's a nice foundation. I think it it kind of looks like natural skin, but perfected a little bit. So I like that. The Peach Lowlighter from Rodeo, I really like this. I've been using this a lot. I think, I have a hard time sometimes with under eye concealers getting like the right shade or, depending what kind of finish you want. A lot of the more radiant ones, I usually have to mix them with something, and this is kind of like that, but it's already mixed. So I really like that. And I like the fact that, I can put this on. I don't have to be careful about using too much. And the formula itself doesn't like gather or crease or anything like that when I wear it. And that like reflection, that light reflection I get lasts all day. So I have really been loving this a lot. As for the new SUQQU cheek palette, I like it so far. I mean, I've only tried 3 of the shades so far. The brown shade, it surprised me. I like that. And I'm going to play more with these to see, different brushes and how I like to use them. But they seem fairly pigmented so far. Again, I was very cautious with mine because I didn't want to use too much. But I like the colors I've used so far. I'm guessing this gold shade probably won't work for my coloring, but it's a good addition for people who have deeper coloring. The brow pencil, I've talked about this a lot. I really like this brow pencil. You can see it just keeps getting smaller and smaller. So I will use this one up. The Rodeo Glass powder, I really think this powder is fantastic. You know, you can see like a transformation when you put it on. I mean, if you try this powder, definitely put it on half your face at once compared to the other. And a lot of powders, you know, that we see, they have like a blurring effect and things like that. This glass powder is different. It's not really that you're just seeing like a velvety blurred finish. I mean, your skin really does look smoother like glass. Like it just makes your skin look smoother. Your pores are less visible. So I think it's a really cool powder. And the lip gloss, I like it. You know, I have quite a few of the Tom Ford lip glosses. I like the formula. It's one of my top formulas. And the Sunrise Pink shade is really nice. I think it's a nice, like, light pink touch. It's more pigmented than the Honeyed Coral and Bare Ash shades that I recently picked up. And if you look at these like together, you wouldn't expect that. You would expect these to have more pigment, but these are definitely like very light. The Sunrise Pink, however, does have more color to it, which is great. And I think that's pretty much everything that I've used. The Chanel eyeliners, I still like them. They're not my favorite formula. I do like things that are a little bit creamier than they are. And I have noticed with some of these eyeliners, you know, they're not quite as creamy as they were when I first got them. You know, totally makes sense. But yeah, you know, so I'm still liking them. There are certain colors I think that are a little bit better than others. I really like the two that I used today because they add a little bit of a pop. And as for the mascara, I think it's a nice mascara. It's a decent mascara and no real issues with that. I think that's everything. So I hope this was helpful. And as for any like comparisons or anything with this, please let me know. And again, let me know if you want to see more with this palette. I'd be happy to accommodate that. And let me know whether you want to see SUQQU or Byredo first. So I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope you have a fantastic day. So thank you so much for joining me today. And if you enjoyed this or found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.